So, how do you think this role of yours, how do you think it went in Avengers Endgame?
What am I at? Sorry.
How do you think this role of yours, how do you think it went?
I was trying to have my spaghetti in peace, trying to just eat it for like 20 minutes. The Avengers showed up, tried to kill me. I was portrayed as more of a villain in this film. I feel like I should have been portrayed as what I really was, a savior to all of humanity and all species of alien and humans alike.
So, can you give us any hints on what Avengers Endgame could bring?
Have you ever heard of the Headless Horseman?
So with Avengers Endgame being so critically acclaimed, what are some great reviews out there?
There's this one review that I really like that's out there.
Avengers Endgame. What did you think?
I thought it was...
I don't care. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to smash that like button.
Keep on laughing.
Keep on laughing. Alright.
Yeah, see you later.
Okay. Alright.
Pleasure.
Good stuff, good
Never
stuff.
coming back.
So, I definitely hated it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. No spoilers. No spoilers for now, I guess.
We will give you a spoiler warning when we're...
Yeah. Was it better than Infinity War?
If they did, yeah, I think they did. They upped the game on some of the... They went into some parts that were in Infinity War a little bit more. Did things better than they did in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Thought it was pretty good.
I would say this feels like more character driven, I guess. Like, you kind of get inside the mind of these characters. Infinity War, it was more about Thanos.
Yeah.
But now there's less of Thanos, but there's more of like the characters we've known to love, and like they're kind of in a new environment, a new situation. So you kind of get a different side of these characters, which I also liked. Also, what I liked about Infinity War, and also what I liked here as well, that they did the same. Characters that we haven't seen together, they're like kind of grouped together, and it kind of makes a different bond, I guess you'd say. Like,
yeah, different environment.
Different environment, like how Rocket Raccoon and Thor, they were together in Infinity War. We kind of get those new character interactions that you wouldn't really expect.
Infinity War was really serious, but this one was... It had like elements of like Thor Ragnarok, so there were points where there would be like little comedy jokes, or like there would be a little bit of a comic relief or a little gag, but they still managed to make it serious at the end, and it was
definitely
still really good.
Did you like the jokes?
I thought that a lot of the jokes were really funny, and like actually like most people in the theaters were like something funny would happen and somebody would go.
I would say it's like half and half, like it was hit or miss. Like some of it was like, yeah, it was pretty funny, but the other part was like, I've heard from like other reviewers and stuff like that said it feels like it's 3 different movies together. Would you agree on that?
No, I don't really. No, I don't. I guess I can see why, but I mean, they all fit the same basic scheme.
I felt like Infinity War felt more like tighter together, like as a story.
Yeah.
This has kind of, I guess, 3 different parts, which could make it feel like 3 different movies.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all of those 3 parts, but when like they're trying to connect, like we have to do this now, and there's like bits of it that kind of drag and slow the film down.
Yeah.
That do make it feel like it's 3 hours long and not quicker.
Yeah. It is definitely a 3-hour long movie.
Yeah, you can definitely feel it.
It's a really good movie if you're like one of those fans who's been here since, or watching the movie since
it's very
like 2008.
rewarding.
Yeah,
I would say.
A lot of the scenes were made for fans, like seeing some of the things that happen in the movie. It's like really like comic book stuff, or like straight out of the comics, or it's for the fans basically.
Like it's for the fans, and there's like fan service, but it feels like there's like purpose. So it's not like, why was that action scene in there? Why was there that callback?
They didn't just like throw somebody in like, hey, look, it's Garfield in the movie now because we needed to add it.
There's
like,
purpose.
They come in for a reason.
To the callbacks and whatnot. All right, should we get into spoilers now?
Yeah, spoiler warning.
Spoilers.
Don't
spoilers.
If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch past here. Just go watch some Jake Paul, or probably don't. But
I don't want Jake Paulers watching this.
Big spoiler here. This is basically.
You don't need to say big spoilers.
It's a big spoiler.
Okay.
If they haven't clicked off yet and they're paying,
they should. Attention. So, what did you think about the time traveling logic?
Time traveling logic was messed up sometimes, but I think that they managed to fix it just by going, you can't change the past. Whatever you do doesn't really matter.
Yeah. The way they use like the PIM, whatever, like
The
Ant-Man.
PIM particles.
Yeah. And I thought also Ant-Man. Let me just say Ant-Man, like Hawkeye and Iron Man, all these three characters, like they're really good in their like own stuff and like in the movies they're in, but like their characters felt like they're more built on, I would say.
Yeah.
Because like the family dynamic, like it's really added in there, like how Hawkeye at the beginning, like
the movie straight up starts with Hawkeye's family.
It really sets the tone in that way, which
Yeah.
I liked. And also having it fast forward 5 years really adds like what I said about Ant-Man, how like he was stuck for 5 years, so it kind of creates a different kind of character for him. And also Iron Man, now he has a family. I'm gonna let him out.
They built on the characters, but they didn't change. Like they like from Civil War, which was the last time that Iron Man and Captain America met up.
Yeah,
they both they still did the whole thing where Iron Man was upset at Captain America, and when he was saved by Captain Marvel, which was
you're saying like the character like dynamics are the same.
Where they kept the theme of like after what happened of Civil War, that's the last time they met, so therefore they're not like they haven't made up yet. And one thing that I thought was kind of upsetting a little bit, one of my grieves about it, was that they set up the whole thing about Tony being lost in space and not being able to get away home in the trailers. Yeah. It was a whole big thing. And then they resolved it by Captain Marvel showing up and just flying him home, which I mean, that's how it happened in the comics.
What I was saying about like the three characters, they feel like more like they've got more to lose because of that. They have that family dynamic. So there's definitely more stakes, and like having Iron Man die makes sense because then I love like the shot where everyone's at the funeral and you kind of see like what Iron Man like meant and like how
like he built up the MCU and it's like everybody who's come from his like the first Iron Man movie which really sparked the MCU. There was a lot less character deaths than in Infinity War, like how like everybody got dusted and died, but Black Widow died and so did Captain America, but everybody who was dusted came back, but then they had to make new sacrifices and stuff like that. So it wasn't just like the perfect happy ending. They still had loss in the characters.
What did you think about the death of Black Widow?
I thought that it was a pretty good scene.
I find Black Widow, she's kind of a weaker character in these movies. Like she has some pretty cool action scenes, but like overall as a character, you're not really like caring for her.
Yeah.
But I think her like sacrificing herself, it doesn't really add a lot. And when she died, I wasn't thinking like, whoa, that's crazy.
Iron Man's final sacrifice was pretty good. The whole like him saying I am Iron Man was really like the last line of the first Iron Man movie where he went, I am Iron Man, and then he's like,
and then everyone's like, whoa, he's Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
But now it's like he's fully committed. You know, it's the last word he says. He's like, I'm Iron Man. This is what I did for the world. Now I'm going out. What did you think about kind of how Captain America ended?
The Captain America ending. Well, of course, when he picked up Mjolnir, and that was a whole big,
not that one, but like the Captain America against Thanos.
Yeah,
that was probably my favorite action scene in the film.
Yeah,
and then like once he breaks the shield, it's like, oh snap.
Yeah, like, what's gonna happen? And then he goes over and picks up Mjolnir and goes.
Boom.
Yeah, like him picking up the hammer was like a reference to the Ultron when they were all jokingly trying to pick up the hammer.
Yeah, that's right.
And he nudged it. And then he eventually picked it up. Captain America, the way that he went out, where he was eventually old and got to live the life that he was like kind of supposed to have.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really good ending for him.
Yeah, honestly, like
so that instead of just like making him like having to have more and more Captain America movies, it's like he finally got to live the life that he wanted. And
honestly, like a lot of the MCU movies kind of like end with a bang, you know, where it's like where Tony Stark's like, I am Iron Man. And it's like, oh, we have to, it's kind of a cliffhanger, I think, in somewhere. It's like, we have to fight these people. But, like, it really ties the knot, which, like, you really, like, sympathize and, like, it really humanizes Steve Rogers as a character and not, like, oh, he's this cool guy. Throughout these movies, he's kind of dealing with his past, and then also like the time traveling when he goes back
and sees himself, and
no, I was talking about when he sees like his girlfriend.
Yeah, when he sees his
and it's like
Agent
and he's like,
Carter.
I want this life, and so he goes back, and it's that nice shot of like them together, and then it nicely close. It's like a nice.
It does have a little bit of a cliffhanger, but it's not much of. It's not a cliffhanger for Steve Rogers. It's more of a here, Sam, you're the new Captain America, rather than it just being more.
Yeah,
Steve Rogers.
If it ended like, I'm glad it ended with that like nice scene at the end where they're like Steve Rogers and his girlfriend. It didn't end with, oh, you're gonna be the new Captain America.
It ended with the sweet like little slow dance, something, and then out with the music. Yeah.
So I liked the time traveling aspect. Some parts, like where they went to the planet in Guardians of the Galaxy, it really like set up like how Thanos gets there, which I like. And then when they're in New York City, it was a nice kind of like, oh man, that's crazy, and you kind of see like what happened like kind of after the scenes you saw in the Avengers. I think my favorite out of those time traveling scenes was when Tony Stark meets his dad.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it feels more meaningful, and it's not just like
it's a lot more
fan service. It's like they kind of have this like odd yet like special conversation, even though his dad doesn't really know who he is.
From up until then, we basically just see Howard Stark as being just like distant to his kids and not caring, and then we finally learn that he's just like basically almost the same, like almost exactly the same as Tony Stark.
Yeah,
because he's just like he's just a nervous guy. Some of the time traveling things, like you definitely see the difference between how much more like the character development of Steve Rogers really went from just being the I can do this all day, to being laid back, sort of.
Okay.
Like a lot more calm, and a lot less. I can win the fight if I have the American spirit.
I would say Thor as a character, I didn't exactly.
He really changed.
He really changed.
Yeah.
I guess coming off of like Thor Ragnarok, Thor has been now kind of the comedic guy.
Yeah.
Which some scenes were kind of funny, but now he's just kind of played as this goofy klutz, which he seems more like a character than he was in the other ones where he's kind of like stiff. But
yeah, it was sort of weird. It felt like two different characters when the movie starts and you see the Thor right after Infinity War.
The Thor the Thor, and then like 5 years later another Thor. It feels like completely different characters.
Yeah.
And I think they it felt like they're like, oh, we don't have any jokes to tell. Let's, make Thor a joke, when I think they could have made him like, you don't laugh at like the struggle that he's gone through and like the ways that he's changed, but you kind of like feel bad for him in a sense. Like they could have gone that route, but
I mean,
it wasn't fine.
It wasn't like a bad scene, but it could have been better in some ways. It could have
improved in that way.
The last 40 minutes, the fight could have been longer, I think.
Okay.
But the last 40 minutes where it was the whole big fight scene and you see everybody who disappeared in Infinity War coming back to fight Thanos' army, and then ending with the I Am Iron Man was a really satisfying scene, I think.
Yeah.
And I felt it was really good.
I guess it gave me the same vibes as like the whole big fight in Wakanda in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, I do like those scenes, but what I liked about Infinity War, that scene where like they're trying to get like Thanos' glove off.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a purpose. Having like Infinity War and having Endgame, they're just fighting mindless clones.
Yeah.
It's just, they just put that in there because to show off their powers.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's kind of a big a complaint like coming from these films. Because a lot of these films do that.
We're going to rate the movie now?
I guess we can rate it now. Okay, actually,
oh, wait. No.
Shut the frick up, dude. So I am going...
Okay, go.
Okay, so I am going a 4 out of 5, leaning towards a 4.5, but for now I'm going to stick with a 4.
Yeah, I think... I'm going to change my Infinity War one because I believe I did that at 4.5.
I think so too.
But I think that one should be more of like a 4. A 4.
Okay.
And this one would be more like a 4.5 because this one wasn't a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But they really did good on like expanding and doing some scenes that were Infinity War.
Yeah.
I feel they did them a little bit better. and it was a little bit better than
Yeah.
Infinity War, but it was still a really
Yeah.
solid, great movie.
It's a really like epic, finale.
Epic win. It's like a
It
big.
felt like kind of Return of the King, where it's like this epic, long movie, like, and it felt satisfying and rewarding to watch after all these movies you've watched. So that's what we gotta say. Comment, like, subscribe. That's it.
Keep on laughing.
Keep on laughing.